Okay. Hopefully everything's good. The audio was set up weird when I got back in. Like, I haven't streamed in a while, so when I got in and I saw my mic wasn't getting picked up or my desktop audio, I was like, uh-oh. But hopefully everything's fine. We got a bit to go through today. To the ship deck. So we've got a little bit set up here. These are cool models. I like them. I don't know if I'm going to play them as teams. I still have to figure out where to get good prints sent. Or get people to print decently. Because I do want the info for all the Mirrored City stuff that I have. Like, I actually physically want it. I don't want to have to keep, like, looking at a phone and being like, oh, yeah, he's got 2 damage. I want it on the table. So I got to figure that out. But these guys are cool. I still have to look through all the decks. I've looked through a couple. They seem interesting enough. But yeah. Yeah. Tried to move the camera to the left side. Now that the wire that I have for it's perfect. Like, I rarely see the wire mess up, which is good. I can move it around my desk. It's just fantastic. And I feel like left side's better for painting than right, since I'm right-handed. I might Bane mask up. I gotta open my window, actually. Bane mask.
I was born in the dark, raised by it.
Alright, so we gotta go... We're doing gray, because I do love gray primer. I actually really like gray primer. Let me move this somewhere. Enjoy the vibrations. Wait, what am I doing? Why is the glove on the right hand? Highly suggest vortex mixers. If you ever want to get like real serious with painting and use like a ton of cool products, really I can't suggest frickin' vortex mixers like more. Like, you need one. They're not that expensive either. I got this one from like a sort of like a almost the Temu of science facilities and labs and stuff. Like, this was like $20 and it works really well. I've seen so many people use it. The doctor is in. Get everyone going with gray. Start with the little guys first. Love the little bomb rat. I'm always a fan of bomb squigs. You give me a bomb rat, hell yeah. I think I'm not going to do my standard underglow system that I usually do. We're going to do the same thing I started doing, which is a more common way of doing underglow. Which is to actually physically, like, wait till the end of the paint job. and then determine like OSL area. God, push fit models always look so good. Alright, the big guy. So many layers on this one. So many angles. Make sure we hit everything. God, chat, I'm gonna have no time this week for like anything. I'm trying to figure out a way to make my battle reports faster while still maintaining like some level of interest in animations and stuff. I kind of have an idea for the gemstones, but we'll see if I want to go with it. I think the tip's getting dry. clear some of this shit off. Sure his undercloak at least gets some of the primer. So the real question is, occasionally chat freezes for me. Not sure if frozen now. Let me refresh. No, I guess not. It's a slow day. Go figure. This is a weird hour to stream. Not a lot of people pop in and watch. It's like a holdover hour. Whoa. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ugh. Bane mask off. So, the goal here, I've always liked the idea of just massively limiting my need to paint. I know that sounds lazy as hell, but it is how it is. So kind of the plan. I have some thinner, I have some flow improver, and I have this pigment of purple that I've used a couple times before, and it looks really good. But the pigment comes out like super thick frickin' glue, like the thickest of cake frickin' icing. Like it's wild how thick this frickin' pigment is, and you really can't run pigment like that through your airbrush. It's not gonna work. Oh, thanks, Moon. I try with the production value. I have time now a little bit, so I'm trying to add like more things. I'm trying to add emotive eye options. That's actually a thing I'm trying to do here. What's up, PhD? Because I know people are a little like, why don't you just sit in front of a camera? I want to look at someone who's actually like moving around and looking at me, basically. Because, you know, we never really grow up, and the children who really enjoy cereal box characters that are looking at them, that's kind of like always been us. Uh-oh. What's happening? It's like backwashing itself. Figure it's going to be a slower stream today just because I'm starting late. Not that put off by it. I really want to get these guys painted. Because Towers Towers of Agasba. There we are. And Stalker 2 are coming out in the next 2 days. Towers of Agasba exists as literally like the type of game I'm super interested in. An extremely highly detailed mechanical world that's a little bit living and breathing beyond what you're interacting with. Like, it's not very scripted all the time. That you're supposed to adventure in and, like, fight in and do all this kind of cool stuff, and I love that. I love that concept. That's always been my favorite concept. I loved it about Valheim. Although Valheim wasn't really a living, breathing kind of situation. It was very basic. Towers of Agasba actually looks like it goes really hard on living world concepts, which is really cool. Super excited to try that out. And then Stalker 2. Volcus isn't the worst if you have an airbrush. Any terrain is not that bad if you have an airbrush and you're not looking to make it like god tier. My Volcus terrain is super basic, and I did like 90% of it with airbrush. I was so happy when I was done. But if you're doing it like, oh, I want every rivet to have a story, good luck. Good luck. Oh, God. That is crazy terrain for that stuff. I did that for my Morok terrain, I think. No. Nachmund. I did that for Nachmund terrain. It looks amazing. My Nachmund terrain looks so good. I would never do it again. I'm never doing that again at all. So, this is the purple I like. It's from Fantasy and Games. I think. No, this is Scale. Scale color. It sounds liquidy. It's not liquidy. I'm going to let you know that right now. This stuff comes out like paste. So I have to do a little mix in here. Yeah. Pre-mix a little bit thinner. Yeah. You always start, you have that like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed feeling of like, oh man, people are going to look at my terrain and think this guy's a god. And then you get halfway through it and you're like, I don't want to be a god. I'm fine being me. Let's get that pigment mixed in. You can actually mix in cup. Just bubbling it up like that. Probably have to mix more. It's got that skim milk consistency, so it should be good. Yeah, I'm gonna let that guy go for a little bit though. He was the last one I painted. Start with the rats. It's such a good purple. Super matte. Nice, deep, rich. The undercolor plays into how bright it gets. This is a cheap airbrush. This is a $20 airbrush. It's $40 now. It was on sale for $20. I've used it for years. I haven't had issues at all with it. Like, occasionally it'll get clogged, but like, the way I always describe it is it's a mechanical airbrush. Like, you can fix it. And you can usually, because it's only like a couple parts, you can fix it super easy. So I just use it for pretty much everything. My buddy has a really good Iwata, though. I've used it a couple times. It's nice and smooth. I like the way it works. I just don't need it. Not right now. If someone was like, hey, dog, I want you to paint this model, and I'm going to pay you like $5 grand to make it the best ever you could possibly make it, some of that money is going towards a really good airbrush. Maybe a Badger. I do like the Badger. The idea of the Badger. Make sure this is mostly purple. No gray showing. Coolio. That's good. Oh yeah, if you can get that that like quick upgrade from immediate interaction, probably no reason not to. Like, my buddy's still adamant he's gonna paint the like 4 armies he has sitting on his table when he has his holiday time. I think after I showed him that you don't actually need to be like a hyper practiced artist and painter to achieve really cool effects and concepts, like basically just Bob Rossing your paint job. Since I showed him that, he's like, oh hell yeah. Like, that's one of the things where when he's kind of in a mind state for it, he'll be like, all right, let me sit down and let me plan a paint scheme, and then let me get into stuff and like actually put together how it's gonna work in the flow, and then do it. Because after he did his Harlequins as Galaxy paint jobs, he was like, holy shit, that took like 5 minutes and it looks really stupidly good. I kind of want to do more, and that's what he's been doing, is basically figuring out how to quickly do a paint job by just layering certain effects on top of each other and being like, done. And it looks so good. This is not purple prime. This is gray prime into purple pigment paint. But yeah, I want to base it purple as the shadow color. Then we're going to figure out what we're going to do after that. kind of want to simplify where the light's coming from, like the ambient light that gives you the general color of the model. And then we're gonna do some like magical OSL. Like his knife might be magical, at which point it would be like a fluorescent color, and then I would try to OSL the fluorescence in the area around it to make it look like he's that's not your bad PhD, I'm just letting you know. You don't gotta worry. You know, fine. But yeah, purple's gonna be the shadow color. We're trying to do a sort of lazy man's approach to this that still looks good. And I think purple's a good way to start. Because I'm basically... We're going to OSL stuff on the models, but then I'm also going to OSL kind of like the step one of the paint job. Like, we're going to decide if there's only going to be ambient color coming from like one direction, from like maybe... how do I put this? Like, let's say for this guy, the color and light doesn't appear here, so we only really hit the ambient color in like this area that it's going to be based on for like what I paint into with the actual colors. And then maybe like at the end of it we can be like, all right, maybe one of these stones is glowing or something, I don't know. And then we hit it with white, and then hit the area with white ink, and then hit that with the color that the stone's casting. That way there could be like a fun little glow effect. So we're going to be doing two things: determining that the purple shadow is going to need to be on these objects, like flat. Like purple shadow is going to be a thing. Where the light's coming from to show general color on the object is going to be sort of like almost ambient, but still one directional. And then from there, we're going to paint outward and actually make the model like detailed, leading up to the eventual OSL lighting from objects on the models themselves. I can kind of show you what I'm talking about when these guys are done, because we sort of did it with a different Underworld's team. I think it's the Scabba Pack or whatever, the Swarm. We did it a while ago, and I liked the result. I want to expand on it and push it a little bit. It's kind of the goal here. The question is, how do we determine what to do underneath the color? Because I could always do white ink where the lighting's coming from, but I feel like that might be too bright. I might want to pick a toning color. So it's like kind of bright, but it's the toning color. Oh, this is almost out. I think we just about hit exactly what needed to be hit, hopefully. Make sure this guy's covered. Yeah, scale color, purple, so good. Just about empty. So we'll let that dry, because it does look like he's pretty covered. They're all pretty much drying quickly. Put this aside. We gotta figure out a tone. Nice toning color. Clean this out. Then let me go grab one of my other things so I can show you what I'm talking about. We kind of did the OSL first on these other guys, and then just painted the areas that weren't OSL'd, but I kind of want to do it a different way here. just a little bit different than that approach. We might try to non-metallic metal these guys too. Just to do it. Just to have like one group that does it. Because normally I do that like half metallic, where I use a contrast paint, and then I apply a really light dry brushing of the actual metal tint, the metal flaking, so that you kind of have the color, and then there's little hits of like light in it, which is nice. But yeah, this style is a little bit advanced from these guys. Because we still did the shadow layer on them. We did it as, I think, a dark gray. Oh no, we did blue. We did a really dark blue on these guys. And then I OSL'd it from one side to just be like, all right, that's the OSL side. And then we decided to layer paint on certain like surfaces to give it the lit render look. But we're gonna do this like with a little bit more specific feeling to it, I think. The question is how. We have a tint color concept we could do. Maybe we do tint color. It needs to be darker. It can't be pure white. We have cobalt, but that's like, it's still a little saturated. I'd have to probably water it down with white, which we could do. I'm thinking. We have cobalt, which I can hit with white to pull it. We have I think my teal is too bright. I have a really good teal, but I genuinely feel like it's way too bright. I don't know. Hang on, let me grab them. I mean, teal is basically just whited down cobalt. Let's see what else we got. Because it doesn't have to be this. We can try to run Citadel colors through, or Army Painter colors through. I'm just going to need a little bit of thinning for these Army Painter and Citadel colors, and that's it. I don't think any are going to stand out to me, though. These are all really basic. I don't even think I have, like, a turquoise. I think it's just straight blue. What's up, Kendi? Quendy? I feel like if we go tinted teal, we can't use OSL that's blue. If I go magenta, I can't use magenta OSLs. I feel like medium magenta might make them more interesting looking as like a tint to work from. I feel like this could be really cool. The thing is, the shadow is purple. It's kind of already close to this. This will make it more apparent. Maybe. Hang on. Let me look at a color wheel. Let me get my brain going. Kick it into high gear. It would need to be like a yellow or a green. Somewhere in there. Maybe an orange? Like an orange base? Golden is an extremely common brand of paint. This is more for painting on canvas and stuff. But their high flow is really good for models through airbrush. They also have a really good line. Honestly, secret sauce to any of you out there who are like, I like painting. This can't go through an airbrush, not most of them at least. But just as a general rule, I would claim not to put this through an airbrush. This is insanely good. The So Flat line that Golden has is so stupidly good. It's almost good one coat. You can easily thin it down a little bit, but the result of every paint stroke, if you're aiming for like a not shiny model, like if you really want the paints to be flat as hell, this is so good. They have a lot of color choices. Like I have a couple fluorescents out of it. I have like a lime green just because like this would probably be close. Let's do orange. What do I have that's orange? I don't think I have a good orange. Oh, actually orange is kind of scary to put through airbrush. Orange sometimes has chemicals in it that can cause interesting side effects, but you do want to make sure. Pyrrole orange. I don't know, man. What if we do... Okay. I should have a yellow. What if we do white ink to zenithal this way, and then we hit it with the yellow? Because if we're doing orange, if we're doing yellow, we need to pull it back from purple. Oh god, I still haven't purchased new white ink. I think there's a little left in there. There's like nothing left in there. Oh, let me check my big art box. I think I did buy white ink a while ago. Hang on. Yes. Not as cool as Liquitex, but it should be the same. Fingers crossed it's the same feel. Let me take another look. But I have a Bombay white,
which I know is really strong. It's all on Bombay white. We might actually use ink for this if I don't have a good enough yellow, because I have this. I have a decent yellow from Liquitex. Take a look though. It needs to not be fluorescent. It needs to actually just be a yellow. I feel like with this, if I control it well enough, it'll go from yellow to orange, which might actually look really cool. Options. How much white ink we got left? Not a lot. I don't want to try to get through my Liquitex. Oh, this is still a little purple. God, that pigment is strong. It's still in here. Need to be careful. Especially since we're going to white. Okay. This is the problem. Eyedropper is barely the size it needs to be for this final bit of white. Beauty. Oh, he was a little ripper. Aside. You really don't want to hit stuff you do not want to hit with this. Good. So, the general concept, like I said, is to figure out if there's like a sort of like a sweeping angle I want to hit them from. I feel like this guy should definitely be from this angle. Brighten up the top a little bit. That is how perfect Liquitex white is on these things, man. It hits exactly where it needs to, and then it just sets. And you're just good. And if you have good enough airbrush control to build up from like mid to high like quantity of white, so good. Move him over here so he's out of the way. Bomb Rat, I'm definitely thinking from the front because he's coming at you. Full on rat fury. he's definitely going to have a little bit of OSL coming from that little bomb on his back. So he's got the action pose. It looks like he's about to throw a grenade this way. So we'll try to make it this way. That way the OSL can play in that shadow back there. Honestly, motorbike? I mean, you'd think from the front, right? But I think because he's leaning to the side, maybe mostly from this angle, right? Hit him up a little harder, like on his face. I'll leave this side a little bit in shadow. We might do something fun, like a little glowy rock or something down here to hit this other side. But for the bulk of the character, I think this would be good. Over here. This guy pointing off in the distance, obviously. You want to go with his action. Make sure his upper body is brighter. Perfect. Thing about these guys is we could almost hit them from the back like this and be fine with it. And have like their fronts casting shadows. It could be good as like a dichotomy component to the overall process here. Because if the rats are like moving towards the glow, right, it feels a little bit like they're almost heroic in the scene, and these guys are mostly striking from the shadows because they are hunters. We just want to make sure there's enough of a rim light around their top area to kind of give them at least a little bit of armor feel. But yeah, keeping the in part of the hood dark. I think that could actually kick some ass. Stylistically speaking, for these two different teams. Same thing with this guy. Specifically because, like I said, I might make the blade magical, which means the OSL would be on this side. And it's the same thing with the archer and stuff. It just means that it would be better if the front end of them is going to be glowing. To sort of make the shade be on the back. Or be on their front side, rather. That gradient right there is so beautiful. Dude, I love airbrushing for this reason alone. Just nailing the gradient. How far over do I want it to go? Well, if we're gonna hit armor, it's gonna be on this side, not his other side. Perfect. Like just a little detail on that shoulder with the little lion's head, getting just the right spots. Huge fan of airbrush. Huge fan of airbrush. Or what am I doing? Not this. Let's actually give it a second, because when the white ink dries, sometimes it darkens. Like this guy got a little bit darker than he probably should be. Specifically around the area I want to be bright, like that. Hell yeah. Anyone have time to look into the Underworld's rules? I've looked into a bit of them. I like the rules in general. The cards I really need to look through. I like that some of the cards have like weird interactions. Like there's a deck that has a built-in timer that goes up or down based on actions taken, and it can like completely change the scoring, completely changes the quality of the abilities. It's this really fun concept of like a ramp deck almost, but not so much for people as much as like spells and abilities. Like, oh, we're at tier 4 Armageddon, stuff's gonna go crazy kind of situation. I'm gonna try to go straight in with this. If I lighten it up enough, I think it'll be fine. Worst case scenario, we can try to add Pyrrole Orange around the outside to really push the outer edges to darker. Oh yeah, the rules are for free now. It's just like, well, sort of. Technically, Underworlds is more free than Kill Team. I know they were like, hey, rules and stuff for Kill Team is going to be free. Sort of. You got the light rules, you got the team rules, that's always cool. You still need to buy a core rulebook, because you do not have all those rules. And those are important rules. That's like the actual meat and potatoes of the game. Whereas Underworlds, the rulebook, 100% just online. You can get it. I got it from the box set, and the box set's cheap as hell. It's like $100. $100, 4 decks of cards, 2 teams, dice, markers. Like, it's actually a better deal than the Kill Team box. Crazy. It's another type of skirmish. It's a little bit more casual because it has a board element. I hate this song, man. Because this song is like an hour long. Let me go here. It's good though. locally speaking, a lot of us really enjoy the concept of this game. So we need to be as light as possible. Cannot pull in all that much. You can pull back a little bit when we get to the outer parts. The parts I kind of want to darken up a little. Because this is a toning color. You can kind of keep that middle bright for the yellowish orange. And get a little bit on this side, because I did hit a little bit over here for kind of like an ambient color. Boom. This is mostly a tint color, so we're gonna work off of it pretty much. BRB. I might do a video overview for Underworlds. I know it's not going to do as good as, you know, my Kill Team content, because that's kind of what the algorithm for me is all about. But I think this is a really worthwhile game that more people do need to get to know. Especially now, after the reboot. Such a bright orange face. So cute. Such a cute little rat. think one of the first things we're going to test out with this color concept is going to be these capes. I am really interested to see what'll happen with like some glazing of burgundy over top of it. I'll probably drain the airbrush once we're done these guys. It'll be a while before we get to the glowy OSL bit. I'd rather not just leave my my tank full. Hell yeah. Yeah. Alright. Finish cleaning the brush. Rubber glove can come off. We actually get into the physical painting. Put in a little bit of effort today on that. Yeah, rubber glove. Oh, my hand's so sweaty. Pull this out. Hopefully I don't have to move too much for you guys. think I might have to though, because if I'm gonna paint, it's gonna be about right here. There you go. We might actually lean into green cloth for my Skaven. I know it's kind of like a common color that gets used for them. I mean, it's common for a reason. Ugh. I need to clean that water out. Do 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 do. The hell is this song? Poggers. Nice. Don't like this layout. Dude, pick 3 colors. All right, 3 colors. A sort of like a dark, kind of shady tone. A fun, like, brighter version, and then maybe like a highlight version of that bright version. And you just all over the dark, friggin' from a 45-degree down, the brighter color. It doesn't have to be the same. It's not like it's dark orange into bright orange. You could do like a dark red and then a bright orange. Or like even like a dark green and then a bright orange. Like you could do weird stuff like that for the shade into the regular, and then the highlight from like even further top down. You're just done 80% of that terrain. You could paint the doors if you want. That's usually a good thing to paint. Maybe the windows. Right now we glaze them. Terrain, honestly, like, you can go crazy with it. You can absolutely just go crazy with it. You don't have to, like, undersell your terrain details, but honestly, oh, dude, that was 100% how I did my my Gallo Dark terrain. I was like, all right, we start black, we go dark blue, and then we hit it with like a medium blue gray. And then I took a contrast from Citadel's line. It's called what the Flesh Terror? Yeah, Flesh Terror Red. Flesh Terror Red, whatever the pigment is that you put it on top of, just becomes red. Like that, it's not like it picks up any of the undertoning. It doesn't pick up any of that. It's just like, and it's red now. So I took that and I did all the doors with it. That way all the doors would be like this extremely deep, dark red. And I was basically done at that point. I think I just went back in with some brassing on some of the wall components, and like that was it. It's like, this is over. Don't need any more. Because, yeah, Nachman took me forever. And the moment I finished Nachman up, I was like, my brain just was like, yo, we never need to do this again. I want to paint teams. I want to play games. I don't want to spend like a year painting terrain. We can't do that again. So when Chalnoth, my buddy bought Chalnoth, I basically just Chalnoth. I was like, all right, gray tones. It's over. Done. We're going to take this blue contrast and we're going to hit all the floors with it with big brushes. Boom, done. We brought the boom. Oh shit. Harlequins? Okay. Is that because of your paint scheme? Like, do you want to go crazy with that paint scheme? Is that like why it's taking forever? Because there's no way to there's no way to make it go faster if that's how you're doing it. Outside of being like, okay, let's focus on something different here. My Quins took a very short period of time because I didn't really care a lot about like the Harlequin patterning that everyone really enjoys. I was not about that life. I was like, nah, I don't want to. I really do not feel like having to, you know, focus too much on the Harlequin patterning. So what I ended up doing was I took really... God, how do I put this? I took really like thick, like layering pigmenty paints that were high saturation colors. I basically painted my Harlequins black. I did a top down of gray on like their armor and stuff and their coats. And then I just took this really high pigmenty color and was like, all right, hair. And you just go through all the hair and you just pick from a selection of colors like turquoise, orange, yellow, pink, and I just made them all different colors, like super quick. And then I did the inside lining of the coats with those colors as well, with like a really thin brush in the areas I could see. Like I would just put it in the coats. I guess honestly, if you want to do them in a fun way, would be to like do like a wild bright airbrush color over top of everything, and then do like a dark, like contrasty dark blue or something, or black, and hit all their main armor components with it, but then leave like areas like the insides of the coats, their hair, certain parts to be like that weird almost confetti-ish or candy, what is it, friggin' candy floss, friggin' cotton candy feel. That could look kind of cool maybe. A lot of them is planning. When my buddy did his Harlequins, it was mostly about planning. He made all his vehicles look like solar system or just general star maps and stuff. And then he made all of his units. It was just black and gold. There really wasn't a lot else going on with them. Yeah, you're wet blending. I wet blended my Shadow Seer. I tried not to wet blend anything else. My Shadow Seer was the only one where I was like, let me wet blend this. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are one of the first kill team units I painted after my Death Guard. So like, very basic, right? Just absolutely basic. I did black and gray armor. Inside of the coat lining is purple on this guy, which means the collar's purple. Masks were just made to be white. All components of metal were gold. The hair I just picked a color out of a bunch of colors I had and just hit it with it. I think this is Dragon Rider, Wind Rider orange or something. And then I did a little bit of wet blending with this guy. Yellow to orange specifically. Like this was the guy I was like, let me do some Harlequin stuff to him. And I didn't really like it. The wet blending I liked, but I didn't like doing the white checkerboard and the gray freaking striping and stuff. But like the purple to magenta hat and then the orange to yellow tassels I liked. I was like, that's fine. But honestly, a lot of what painting is planning. Like having a sort of plan in your head the whole time, or at least before you start painting, you can try to find ways to make things easier, or at least figure out what you need to do first, I guess would be a big thing. Like how we handled the light and the dark on this guy to be tinted orange in the light areas and purple in the dark areas. We already pre-knew that, and at this point I'm using contrast paint as a glaze to get me kind of a base painting to work off of underneath it. We'll highlight with actual colors, I think, with layer colors. But this approach is causing certain parts on the cape to be brighter and darker. It's pushing the burgundy, which is a split between red and purple. It's pushing it into the red in the lit areas, and then in the dark areas, it's pushing it closer to purple, which is pretty cool. It's kind of exactly what you want. Gotta make sure to hit the right spots with it. And that's just planning. Yeah, but what the must change music. Whoa. I never emptied my airbrush. Hang on. Loud noise in a second. There we go. Emptied, drained. But that's the thing. Like, you can't skip steps. It's hard to say this properly. Know that you should, no matter what level of like how much you've been painting is, like no matter that level, you should always like spend a lot of pre-time thinking about how the paint's going to interact. Look up methods and concepts, because color theory for like general painting and how paint works for general painting is very close to how it works here. I mean, it's basically the same thing, just on a three-dimensional canvas with like corners and angles and stuff. It's great. Because 9 times out of 10, the best way to paint is to just let the statue that you're painting, the model, do like 80% of the work for you, if possible. And the airbrush really helps with that. Because like you can see on the cape that there's like a brighter top to it now because of the orange, and then a darker purple inlay there. And that's literally just because of what we did with the airbrush. Yeah. Should be linked in the description below. I usually talk about it in all my videos. We have a work in progress channel. We have a gallery channel for finished work. People usually bring a lot of information to the table about products and process. We've shown videos to people because there's people out there you can look at. I have a couple videos that talk about some like stuff, I guess, in the hobby side. I should probably do more, but I just don't have the time. I've done a couple cool things recently that I could turn into videos, but I gotta think about it. But like Ninjon, Squidmar, they do usually have a lot of videos that will tell you about specific things. Miniac occasionally does it. Miniac's kind of like me. He's all over the place with his content. He likes doing hobby videos, but he also likes showing people games and stuff in a similar way. He's like the inverse of me. Everyone knows him for the hobby side, and he keeps trying to show people how cool games are. Meanwhile, I'm out here being like, check out cool games, and then occasionally showing you a hobby video. But they usually do put up stuff that's related to like, hey, let me tell you how this works when you're trying to, you know, paint and color. All right, hang on. Sorry about that. I had to mute my mic, talk to my sister about what to grab out of my fridge for dinner. Forgot to do all the hoods. Can only stop by. Oh, all right, Martin. Thanks. Thanks for swinging in. I might do another how to like start Kill Team 2024. Weirdly, the algorithm on YouTube, man, you write how to in your title, it's over. Frickin' my how to, like, or like my top 10 tips for Kill Team, like the last edition. God, that thing exploded. I barely even touched it. People were just watching it in bulk. I have a feeling there's like a bot farm out there or something of just a bot that types in top 10 tips and then just watches and keeps going. Just does it consistently. Because there was no reason for that video to hit the numbers it did. It was just me being like, you know, use dice to mark where you're going to end up when you measure stuff. Okay. Let me know if this is a little blurry. I don't know. It looks a little blurry on my screen. Hopefully it's not that bad. The trick with this approach is trying not to touch random parts of the model as you work. You only need to hit the specific spots. If not, you're gonna have to like try to wash it off quickly. God, Towers of Agazba. It's finally happening. I heard about that game years ago. I saw a demo video, like a demo reel of it. This was when I used to play Gigantic. Like way back before it crashed the first time. And I was trying to figure out where the devs went, and I think one of the devs I was looking at was like, I'm starting a game. And I looked into it, and it was Towers. It was just called Towers at the time. Now it's Towers of Agazba. I do not. No. I actually skipped a lot of the Season 3 kill teams, and there's a couple Season 1 kill teams my friend owns. The issue is I gotta get over there and grab them from him, because I do want to do videos for as many of the teams as possible that I physically have. I want to do a Blooded overview video, though. And I do not own the Blooded, and I really don't want to just buy them, because we're at that point now where Season 1 teams are only going to be around for like a year. For competitive, I mean, you can play it as much as you want otherwise, but I do want to start getting into tournaments, is the thing, because a few of them have been popping up around here. Alright, let me pick a fun highlight color for this, because I kind of want to just do the cloaks. And the best highlight color for burgundy is a color from the Army Painter line called Wizard Purple, I think. Warlock Purple, I want to say. Let me find it. Let me show you what Warlock Purple looks like. How purple does this look to you? Am I colorblind, or is this pink? Is this pink? Am I colorblind? This is Warlock Purple. It's my favorite thing ever, because this is definitely not a purple. Right? Like, I'm not crazy. Get this vortex mixed up. We're going to be edge highlighting with it for the most part. That's the thing, though. It doesn't even matter. I don't care about the name. It's a beautiful pigment. This is one of my favorite pigments to use actually with purple or with burgundy as like a highlight color. Because it's hilarious. It's a fantastic little BS. Let me open this up real quick. But yeah, I don't own most of the Season 3 teams. I was trying to get Hearthkin Jaegers, but the day I just... So, okay. My local store has a curse. Or at least I have a curse with my local store. Oh, God. I did not need that much. Thanks, Army Painter Bottle. That's fine. I barely use this nowadays. Although, no. I'm probably fine with it. Because I have Familiar Pink, which is basically the same thing at this point. So my local gaming store has a curse. And the curse is, if ever you see something and you're like, maybe I'll get it later, it'll stay in that store until the very moment of the very day that you personally go, yeah, it's time. I need to get that. It's official. The one thing I've been thinking of getting, I'm 100% getting it. The moment you have that thought, somebody walks into that store and buys it. Okay? Like, that's actually a thing. This has happened to me on more than one occasion at this place. So I was sitting at home and I was like, I kind of want to get a Season 3 team. I kept staring at Hearthkin Jaegers because Hearthkin Jaegers are a one-box team. And they're actually kind of good with that one box, right? Like, they're good. There's validity to them as a one-box team. They have some really fun concepts. It made me really think, like, yeah, let's get Jaegers. Fuck it, right? Like, Jaegers will do really well. The moment I got to the store, they were sold out. So, they'd been in there for weeks. And that's why I have mandrakes now. Because mandrakes are cool, too. I like mandrakes. They were kind of my second option. But from Season 3, I think I have Scouts simply because my buddy wanted to buy Scorpions. He bought the box and was like, do you want the Scouts? And I said, sure. It's the only reason I have those. Bit of that burgundy back in, a little wet on wet. Jaeger mines anywhere are a menace. Scout mines are also pretty rough too. Scouts are basically just Jaegers. Friggin' season 3 was a pretty hefty disappointment in my opinion in a lot of ways. In particular, Scouts and Jaegers. Yeah, I've got most of season 1. I think I have all of season 2. I have access to all of season 2. Between me and my friends, we have pretty much all season 1, all season 2, except Blooded. Blooded was like the only thing we didn't grab. What was the inverse to Blooded? Phobos. I have Phobos. I bought Phobos separate. Because Phobos were actually really cool. I saw a lot of potential out of the Phobos team when they were first released, especially after the update where they gave them the extra AP. But like even beyond that, I was like, dude, there's so much the Phobos can do that people don't seem to understand. They were so conceptually strong. And watching everyone be like, Phobos is like, all right. But yeah, right now, back in the day with Magic the Gathering, I was a huge fan of poison decks, and I always loved decks and things that would cause debuffs that were persistent, that enemy players needed to really weigh the positives or negatives of allowing them to go through when they do. I love that, because it makes the game like a little bit difficult for your opponent to be like, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that token going through. I don't need to do anything about that. So Death Guard. Since we redid my Death Guard so that they actually work this season with the Sorcerer and everything, yeah, they're definitely on my list of teams I really want to play, like, pretty consistently. But ever since, like, I played 2 games of Mandrakes on Saturday, dude, they're so stupidly fun. Just being like, I'm over here now. Forcing your opponent to have to, like, think almost in 40k terms. Like, the whole thing about Kill Team for a lot of people is you don't really have to go deep on, like, the 40k concept of, like, screening and all that. You don't really have to. You have to against Mandrakes, especially in, like, full-scale approved ops combat. Because at approved ops scale, what's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh, let me leave my base behind. And then I'm going to go, cool. And I'm going to have the TAC op that requires me to be within your deployment zone. And I'm just going to send my leader to your deployment zone. And he's just going to sit in your deployment. And you're going to have to go back and get him. And I'm going to be scoring 2 points every single time you don't go back to get him. And if you do go back to get him, there's a chance in the following round, because you're going to have to run over and try to get him. There's a chance that when you do activate to try to kill him, like early, if you have access to it, you're going to not be able to activate. It's so fun. He's so, like, that whole team is just dumb fun, and it's great. Highly recommend to anyone that really wants to have like a team that has a pretty high ceiling in terms of like skill. They're definitely a high skill ceiling team. Beautiful. Some beautiful cloak work. Might need to get some more burgundy color. Some Berg pigment. Maybe not, though. I know Warp Coven's doing really good. I know it's just there are just a small handful of teams that are having a lot of fun right now. I guess we're all expecting the first data slate probably shortly after the holiday. You know, give the game enough time to breathe. Wait for someone to drop a video like, I know you all hate elite teams. Here's how you beat them. And then they just drop the secret strat. Put barbed wire here and then stop caring. It's like, oh, everything's simple now. And then at that moment, Games Workshop's like, yeah, we don't need to nerf them. It's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. Must grab more magenta. I don't think I really want blooded. Like, I don't even want to turn them into... Thank you for the offer, but I don't think I even want to turn them into, like, a paint project, honestly. I like them. I like their concept. And they are pretty good still, to my understanding. But, like, I don't know. To put the effort in to paint something that I'm going to not be able to use in a year in competitive scenes is like, okay, not doing that, I think. Behold, burgundy cloaks. Lightened up by something that claims to be a purple but is absolutely a pink. Simple enough. And it's just like hyper fast cloak work, which I love. I love it when it's like, oh, it looks good, and I barely did anything. Yay! Alright, we're gonna consider for these guys. I have an army painter green. I have a couple army painter greens that I might do their robes in. So let me grab those who have army painter speed paint. Top tier, right here. This thing. Gilly Dew. I love Gilly Dew green. It's pretty vibrant. Let's try it on you first. So anything that really looks like cloth is going to be getting a little bit of Gilly Dew. Sort of a glaze over top of it. Big trick is to try and not, coffee stain too many areas. Just want to get a little bit of that Gilly Dew in there. Get the color going the way it's supposed to. Fade into the purple a bit. Speed paints are pretty good, especially with the 2.0 stuff. The big thing is my local store had a rack of them, so I could actually like pick colors. It's very important because now that we've based the color green, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to pick one of my actual greens to highlight with. We'll do that in a minute. Nothing else really cloth on him. You can kind of count this as cloth. I think it's like sackcloth going up into the helmet. Doing yellow undercoats like this before using green speed paints or contrast paints is awesome. I actually saw someone show off their methodology of doing orc skin, doing this kind of similar thing, where you do a yellow underpaint. You do like a dry brush yellow function underneath, and then you just hit it with like a green contrast. I think they did an emerald contrast specifically, because the contrast really does just like let the yellow hit the peaks, which makes it just look so good without much effort. Kind of always a thing people aim for, seeing how you can make kind of these low effort beautiful colors. Sackcloth rat. gloves in green too. Got any cloth on him? Sort of, but it's leather strapping. Is that a hat? Is that a metal hat? That's a metal hat. I think he has a cloth. No, that's fur. Symbolically, so I think we'll do the leather strapping in green so that he kind of feels tied in with everyone else. Have like a unifying color theme. Because I kind of want their fur to be a little different. I like the idea of having different colored fur on the rats, like beautiful auburn colors, grays, dark blue, black kind of situation. It just makes the rats feel a little bit more individualized. So having the green, keep them all together. So my Emperor's Children idea, I kind of want to print, or I kind of want to paint an example, but I also want someone to leak me information, right? I want someone to leak me that, yes, the obliterators will be in the Emperor's Children Codex. And I'll be like, yeah, and then because I have 4 of them. And I want to paint them. And I want them to be in a color that I want, like, to have access to for that army. So the idea is we're going to blast them with white primer. I have a giant jug of it ready for that whole army. And the way it's going to play out is we're going to hit them in their core, like their head and chest area, and a little bit into, like, whatever kind of bicep-y or extended component of their body is. It's going to be fluorescent pink. That means black light reactive. And then the closer to the outside the ligaments are, like just their arms and like if they have extended like weird legs and stuff, their armor is going to be fluorescent purple. So also black light reactive. The trick is that in the fluorescent pink area, I'm going to try to make sure that the liner, like the actual armor lining, is black, the fluorescent pink area. Fluorescent purple is going to be gold, which is their original armor color. Purple to gold versus pink to black, which is their new armor. Because I want them to feel like they're kind of going between the two states, right? I want it to feel like where they were, where they are. I bought 50 3D printed Astartes sized hair metal female heads. So my entire army for the Emperor's Children is going to be an all-female hair metal group. If I decide to go like Lucius, right? Like if I get a Lucius model and Lucius's body is about the same size as the rest of the Marines, it's going to be Lucia. It's going to be a female Lucius with hair metal. That's the whole goal. I'm going to figure out how to... I have this video saved on YouTube that shows how to wire lights into the actual bases, right? To be able to put like little batteries under the bases. And most of my characters, I'm going to try to have actual like black light built into their base, so I could just put a battery in, and then the unit itself just activates a black light, which makes all the fluorescent paint on them and around them glow. Right? And that's the paint scheme. Look at this guy go. This guy feels good. He's coming in with his green cloth armor. Whee! So yeah, that's my scheme. That's my idea. I actually have the 3D printed heads in this drawer right here. I ordered them at the beginning of the year. The rumor of Emperor's Children came out. My assumption was they would have been out by now. I figured, you know, like if the rumor's stirring now, we got the holiday coming up, they'd be out. But I guess not. We're gonna have to wait a little bit. All right, let me get a decent looking, like a lime green. If you're looking for them, here's what I did, okay? I went to Etsy. I found a person who had alternate looking Sisters of Battle heads. I messaged them and I went, hey, can you scale these up for me? I need them for Chaos Space Marines. And he went, absolutely. Didn't change the price. Didn't do any of that. Just, he said, put it in the notes that we talked. Put it in the notes that the size you want. And then get me that info. And I went, absolutely, man. I got you. And then they came in, and they're big enough for Chaos Space Marine bodies. So I would highly suggest going to Etsy, finding someone who 3D prints heads that you're like, yes. And then message them. Don't buy them right away. Message them. And be like, yo, I need these for Custodes. Can you print them in that scale? See what they say. The best way to go about doing it, honestly, because there's some really good heads. Like there's female demon heads that could look really crazy cool on a Custodes body, just like a female demon, big horns. This is that so flat paint we were talking about. It's kind of difficult to use. You do need to water it down a bit if you're trying to blend it. I'm hoping the wet palette will help with. We're only trying to hit some areas on these guys with it. Don't necessarily want it to be overpowering in a lot of the spots. You can kind of texture it because they are wearing basically burlap sacks. So texturing using the Ninjon method of being like, oh, just, you know, stipple or something. There's some good, just basic ones, I think. You could probably find some. But yeah, keep an eye out. And then just message them about it. Just be like, Custody size, please. I think we're out of music. skip. They do head upgrades. They do upgrade sprues once in a while, but I feel like it's a cost inefficiency thing, right? They don't have a way to directly ship like easily, right? Like there's no moment where let's say you want to play Iron Fists. They have to have Iron Fist upgrade sprues in places for you to get. Like you can't just be like, can I have an Iron Fist sprue? And then they have to be like, yeah, we'll print it for you, you know, just put your order in and within the year we'll get it to you. It's like, well, the year? It's like, yeah, we got to put it in a specific order with like other stuff. It just gets weird, which means when they do an upgrade sprue, they get to that point where they're just like, all right, we got to print 1,000 of these and then pray to the gods that people actually want to use them. That's probably the worst part. Honestly, that's probably why prices keep going up through Games Workshop is everyone's like, hey, we want sprues for this. And they're like, oh, maybe we'll make some money off of it. Let's print 100,000 of them. And then like 10 get purchased. It's just like, all right, we're increasing costs of all our models by 20%. Ah. If they had a more direct to print method, like kind of what Privateer Press was trying to figure out with bringing in 3D printer people to be part of the overall like shipping process, I think that could have worked out. That could work out with them, but I mean, Games Workshop's been burned so many times by trying to let other people have access to their product. The moment they'll tell someone like, yeah, you can print it, here's the STL, it's like, cool. And then you check Etsy and there's someone selling it on Etsy for like $1. It's like, great. Can't have nice things. No, yeah. In my opinion, they should be... Games Workshop should be happy for people making upgrade sprues out of 3D printing. I mean, they can't be because it's money that they're losing by leaving it on the table. But at the same time, like, recent Kill Team release, right? They tried to make it so that you can buy bases that have the health of the units on them. Like the Hero Click style thing. It's not that good. And up until that point, the market for Kill Team for like weird stuff, wound trackers and things, that was Etsy. MDF printed, wooden, like laser cut, really good. I use a lot of them. My friend has a bunch. I also use them in 40k as wound counters when I play knights and stuff because, I mean, that's a lot of wounds to track. And I don't like using D20s because they can roll and then you're screwed. What the hell was his health? If they were cooler with third parties doing like weird stuff, like the cost inefficient things, I think they could like have a lot better of a life. As a company, because it would be great. We'd have a maker market and then the main market. And so long as the line is drawn that like if you're going to a tournament, you need to have the branded proper things. But if they all happen to have really cool looking heads, go for it. Hell yeah. Dude, that green cloth looks so good. I love it. Kind of want to work on that wheel. So what color do we want our Stormcast armor to be? I know gold's the standard, but I think I want these guys to be like the Shadowcast kind of concept that I had, where they basically were like dark iron. Which would lead me to want to possibly do... So, conceptually speaking, I have seen it. You can get 3D printed things. It's a little bit more strict, especially in a... Let's say... What is it? The Golden Demon. Golden Demon, they really don't want too much 3D printed. So there's like a percentage or something that they aim for. They want it to mostly be your skill with medium and material. Because if you have access to a 3D printer and you're just like, yeah, this is a Gargant. I bought a Gargant and then I used one piece from the Gargant box and then just, 3D printed everything else. It's like, all right, man, how much did you actually do? How much, You're supposed to be showing off GW pieces with this. But... I don't know if I like this. Oh, the marble armor. Let me pull it off so it looks almost weathered. Marble armor could be cool. I don't know how much texturing I want to do, though, with this kind of a paint job. But we do have an idea. Where are you, Leviathan Blue? You've saved me so many times. It's time to do it again. I think I'm almost out of my Leviathan Blue, so we need to be very cautious with this. Or I'm gonna have to go get more. Glaze blue the whole way up the armor. Leave the tassels. This will be a good basing. We might non-metallic metal actual blue over top of it. No, yeah. As long as you physically do it, I feel like that's where they're like, yeah, it's fine. It's just that 3D printing side, they're just like, no. We've been hurt before. So we just need to make sure all armor components that are showing get hit with a little bit of Leviathan Blue. But when you're playing on tabletop, I've seen a lot of people in like the big games have at least some components of their army seemingly 3D printed for like some cool visual aesthetic flair. Which, yeah, go for it. If that's the case. If they ever like get stricter on it, I think that's like the contentious part right now is people who have like really cool looking armies that are decently 3D printed, not like completely, but decently. There's probably a little bit of fear there that at some point Games Workshop's just gonna snap and be like, nope. And then this big army you've collected for years and custom crafted and did all this cool stuff to is suddenly like useless. If you're a tournament goer, it's like, oh, it's sad. Oh no, yeah, we've got a few people at the local store near me who all do 3D print. So yeah, we just need to make sure the blue goes where it needs to. We're probably gonna non-metallic metal it a little bit. No, yeah, their price increases are rough. The problem is, it's rougher against new people. That's the issue, I think. They're working really hard to make the rules be noob friendly. Like they're trying to reassess everyone wanting to get into the game on like a new level. But then they made it so that the pricing for those people getting in on a new level, they're staring at like this insurmountable, extreme frickin' number as like what they have to hit in order to get the army they want. And then at that point it's like, well, we have other games. We have Kill Team, that's cheap. We have Underworlds, which is insanely cheap now. Holy crap. $100 for the starter set was just like, whoa. You know the next sets coming out are gonna be like 180. Like, no, there's no way 100 is the common. That is not happening. I mean, a lot of it's kind of like greed. It's such a hard business to think about. It's not like greed, but it's like a capitalism mindset. Line always has to go up, right? So the best marketplaces in the world are disposable ones, where whatever you're purchasing from that market is like eaten and then or breaks down after a short period of time, or only has a one-time use. That's where prices get to be like really cheap. But with Games Workshop, like, even if they go, all right, well, the rules are changing, this model's no longer in, everyone's like, oh, that sucks. But then they see the new model and they're like, oh, I just need to convert something on it real quick with some of the stuff that I have laying around, and I don't even have to buy the new model. It's near impossible for Games Workshop to win with people wanting to collect new stuff. There was this whole business outlook thing that happened where they were trying to figure out kind of the best time for Games Workshop in terms of sales, and it's always within the first, I think, 5 months of someone getting into it, and then spending goes way down because they don't need to, spend as much on any of that. They have what they want, and then they don't really need more. Like, I'm done. Like, had I not chosen more armies than just the one that I was playing, I would have been done. They wouldn't be getting an extra dime out of me outside of just codex releases. And, like, that's a weird thing, right? So they're trying to explore paths to try to earn money consistently, which is why they did their whole Warhammer Plus thing. That way people who aren't spending money might want to, like, pay into a pretty consistent update. But then, like, they're not giving you the rules for spending every month, so they don't really get people in it. It's this whole thing, man. Which get new starter sets? If you're talking about Kill Team, we did. The new Kill Team starter set is the Angels of Death versus Plague Marines. MDF board, all that stuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for the price. I mean, it's a rebox of the old hero sets, but still, it's pretty good. I mean, Embergard is the new starter set, I think, at this point. They might do a starter set after Embergard that'll probably be very close to Embergard. But, like, at this point, we need to see what the next box looks like, right? This is, for Underworlds, it's been one of the hardest things to try to balance how things get released. I was really annoyed finding out about, like, to get all the decks of cards you might want to use, you have to basically buy every set. It's like, okay, I don't want to do that. Is there a way I can get them standard? No? Okay. Like, it just wasn't good. And now with this new set, you start with 4 decks of cards. From the sound of it, every new set coming out is going to introduce a new set of cards as well. So it's a little on the side of, like, I don't know yet. It still feels a little off. But at least I'm starting from the get-go, as opposed to finding out, like, there's 1,000 cards I should want, but I can't get. One of the people who's local to us, who, like, this is his game. He watches podcasts and stuff for Underworlds. Like, he traveled to other countries to get the decks of cards he was missing. Alright, let me get kind of like a middling blue. Deep blue. I mean, I was cool playing Rivals just because Rivals was like, use your deck of cards, go for it. And I was like, all right, cool. But a lot of players wanted to play Nemesis, and none of us locally were like cool with that because Nemesis we didn't have the stuff for it. Most people were annoyed that they didn't have the right boards that they wanted. I don't know if this is a good enough blue? Do I need to... dry brush it a little on in some areas. It should have some lighting on it. highlight this thing with some pink stuff soon. It's really getting frayed. Yeah, I'm hoping to start seeing more kill team tournaments locally. We have a lot of 40K tournaments. I was talking to one of the guys that goes to a lot of them. He wants to see me at more of them because, like, he sees me win kill team games pretty efficiently at the store because, like, I am strategic minded. It's just needing to know everything about 40K to get it to work. That gets me a lot. So I just need more experience to get the timing down. Like, it's just a whole thing, right? Pink stuff. It's basically shampoo and conditioner. They sell it at art stores. Supposed to put it on the brush tip, work it in. Tries to bring the brush tip back from the frayed state. There's a bunch of versions of this. You can get pink stuff, which is liquid. There's also the bar soap versions as well that you put a little water on, and then you can just run the bristles on it. But yeah, it's meant to do that. Like, this was all frayed a second ago. It's to fight the fraying. Well, the job though here. I think I got contrast up in the mid part of this brush. I'm gonna have to switch brushes. I like long bristle brushes when I'm using contrast for one reason and one reason only. You can kind of see that there's dark color up here. I think when we use contrast, it got into the neck. And once the contrast gets into the neck, your brush is basically done. It's gonna constantly pull that shit apart. Throw that out. Switch to the long bristle. Love long bristle. No, yeah. But yeah, I was talking to the one guy that wants me to do more 40K tournaments locally because we do have a kind of a store group that's been going to them now. And we were going over this area because this area is weird. The area I'm in, very weird. The best 40K player currently in the world is like an hour from my house. The top world teams are about 30 minutes from my house. Like, that's a thing. We have this strangely good 40K, like, societal thing in our area. So that's why 40K is so strong here. I'm trying to see if I can get Kill Team to start growing in this area as well. I taught 2 people the current system on Saturday. I kind of want to start, like, putting forward more. I want to get, like, a flyer made for my local game store so I don't have to drive a half hour to play. Just drive like 2 minutes. Play some games. I think this is going to be a 3-layer non-metallic. situation. Three or four, maybe. So yeah, I need to figure out if I can get more people into Kill Team locally. We did have a really good tournament near here not that long ago. It was like one of the bigger ones. A lot of content creators went out to it. People who, I think like the major people that go to like LVO and stuff went to it. I just need the small scene locally to get better. Honestly, for Kill Team or Underworlds. Underworlds is so stupidly fun. I played it with a buddy of mine. He was like, yo, that game, freaking awesome. He's actually thinking of getting some stuff together for it. Yeah, if a big store that does a lot of Games Workshop stuff closes in an area and there's not any other store, Games Workshop tries to get a store in that area. They really do. They try to expand a lot. I remember my buddy and I used to work at a video game store, like a mom and pop one, that we were kind of like managing and everything. Is this metal? I don't know if I want to do it metal though. We might do it leather. So we were just managing this video game store, and then Games Workshop contacted us because we were in an area they didn't have a game store in. And I think there was a different one that was down the road from us that closed. That was doing pretty well, but they still closed. Because, like, you're not surviving just straight up normal in this area off of one thing. You got to try to sell like everything, magic and all that, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And they contacted us after that place closed. They were like, yo, can we sell stuff from your storefront? They gave us like all the rates. The rates are incredible. At the time they were. I don't know how they are now, but at the time the rates between what customers have to spend versus what the store spends were just ridiculously good. Like, percentages were crazy off the charts for different types of boxes. We were actually thinking about it, but then we opted out eventually because we were too focused on like video games and video game repair stuff. And then within, I think, like a year of us going, nah, we can't do that, they opened one across the street from us. That went under, though. That was in the worst place ever. I don't know who okayed that with their freaking department for, like, retail. You couldn't see the storefront. The shopping center across the street from us had the worst storefront presence for this one spot. This one spot was literally How do I put this? It was basically a pillar. Like it was just like a pillar in front of your door. You didn't have a window. And that's where they decided to open their store. And it was a tiny, tiny corner store. They could only put one table in there to like show people games. So they had one table. Like that store's not living. The moment I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's not lasting. And I think they only went like a year before closing down. Magic, dude. There's stores for this for like this nerd culture stuff near me are way too crazy, man. So I found this other card store that I didn't know existed. Apparently, I guess during COVID, they decided to move from their current rental situation to this like other place. They don't even have a sign up there yet. And they've been there for a year now. They don't have a sign in front of their store, like one of those retail signs. They just don't have it. Their whole thing is only cards. Any of like the biggest card games, both competitively as well as like market, that's what they do. Their entire existence is built around sending people to tournaments to win the tournaments. And they also is that all of them in blue? Is this guy in blue? Did we do this? No, we didn't do this. They also do mostly trading as well. They get cards, they sell cards, they watch the market. That's just how that store exists. It's all about the trade. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, there's local game stores that explicitly, like, the owners will tell you if you ever ask them, like, what's your big thing? They're like, Magic the Gathering keeps the lights on. Like, no matter what other system sells or doesn't sell for them in the month, Magic the Gathering just makes up for it usually. And then when Pokemon started shooting up, thanks to content creators being like, yo, these cards are worth billions. Making everyone be like, yo, new markets. Let's start buying all this stuff up. So with that where it's at, let's see if I can find my Embergard blue. Embergard. Let's get it. Vortex mixed up because it looks like the pigment has separated from the medium a bit. Is that a markup for you locally? Are War Dogs 120 right now? They are, right? I mean, granted, they're 120 because you need like 2 boxes of those and then 2 big guys and you're done. Like, that's it. Game over. Don't need to buy anymore. Have fun. You can magnetize them all real easy so that you don't have to keep buying them to get the variants. You just do whatever the hell you want. I have 6, 7, 8. I have 8 right now for my War Dogs and Armigers. And then I have a Castigator. I have a swappable like multi-weapon one for like the Questoris size, but the Chaos side of it. And then I have an Abominant. Warhammer 40k. Did they put them up to 120 because they were rare? At one point they were hyper rare because everyone and their mom was like, yo, War Dogs. No, yeah. And definitely look at the smaller games. Blood Bowl's a little like, eh. From what everyone tells me about Blood Bowl, it's been solved. Like, you could watch videos that teach you how to play it to the best of your ability, and then whatever game you're playing against anyone's going to end at like a 1-2 or something, or an 0-1. Yeah, $94.50 is War Dog price right now in the US. Because they did do the price increase. But 120 feels like the price stores were trying to sell War Dogs at when there's a box of Dungeon Bowl near me. So they're just trying to mark stuff up because they're the only local place? That's weird. Or is it set that if you purchase it online, that's about the price? Alright. Yeah. This out of the way. Seeing on this gauntlet. So I'm gonna do kind of a line. Yep, we're working on them. Trying to make them look decent. might be because that's weird that they would, because normally store price is supposed to be equivalent to whatever your online price is, but if they can't ship you stuff in that area, or the online local pricing is that way, then I guess that's that. Can you not get stuff shipped to you? That might be why. If where you're at, because you said, I think you said you were military area. If you're not allowed to get stuff shipped in, that store might be taking advantage of you a little bit. Or if there's like a problem, like some military bases might require cost to be paid to get product brought in from the outside, because people have to like look at it, make sure it's good, and not like something illicit that can't be on base, which usually increases cost of product. That might be why. Ooh. Because, yeah, 120 for War Dogs when they're 92. That feels rough. That sounds rough. Maybe. I think, I'm trying to think. The next video might be talking about Embergard. I'm going to try to figure out if I can record a match a kill team, and then figure out how to do it quickly enough that if I start doing more of those, it won't take as long as they used to. That's like a big thing for me. If I can figure out how to make it so that they happen quickly, and you guys can just get like really cool stuff in a timely fashion, that would be great. I think we end this with Baharoth Blue. I feel like they're screwing you over, dude. All my local stores sell everything at the same price as what the website says. I don't know, man. That just feels weird to me. Like if I walked into a local store and they were like, yo, here's a box of kill team for like $180, like a single team, I'd be like, congratulations, I'm never buying from this store, and I just walk out. There's even local stores that do, if someone wants to like just sell off their stuff, they can get store credit for like built painted models or just extra stuff they have laying around. They get store credit for it, but it's not a lot of store credit, and then the models themselves are sold like hyper cheap. So that people can basically walk in the store, see a bunch of models that maybe they need to strip the paint off of, and then just get them for really cheap. Just really good deals. freezer make weird noise. Usually when that happens, it means the door's not fully closed. Baharoth blue. I have not played New Underworlds yet. I was debating doing it when I did my game of Kill Team on Saturday. I might just run an example game. I don't know. Like on stream or something. The issue is the cards. I wish we had like a fun program that I could, you know, have you guys draw your own cards through and stuff. We could do like an actual plays against chat. I think that could be really cool. But I do want to experience it. Most of the rules seem the same, although from what I was looking at, the game looks a little more lethal than what it was. Because originally, like, let's say, it's, at least from my memory, if I were to, let's say, roll a crit, right? Like, if I rolled a crit save, and my opponent had, like, 2 hit dice, not crit dice, but hit dice, it was basically it. That was over. Like, he wasn't... That was the end of that roll. I made the crit save, therefore I'm better off. And no damage done, nothing done. In this version, you're supposed to total successes, crit or normal, and then compare. That number specifically. Like, that's the big key number you need to focus on. Because if someone rolls a crit save, but then no regular saves, and then your opponent rolls 2 regular hits, the attack still happens. It's just -1 damage, and I think no push. So, like, it's pretty cool. I like it. I like the general gist of it. I wonder if I have something brighter than Baharoth. We might just have to use maybe a little bit of white and Baharoth mixed for like the pure highlight. Oh, so he's holding... Okay, so he's holding the store... The people who want to play Warhammer in the store hostage because, like, other games pay better for him anyway? So he's like, you either buy it here or you don't, I don't care? Dude, that... Ugh. Ugh, brother, ugh. That's insane. That's insane to hear. I don't think he can actually do that, too. Like, you're supposed to, you sign something, right? Like, you're supposed to sign something when you become a Games Workshop, like, seller. And it has to do with, like, being okay selling for the prices they tell you to sell. Because it hurts the brand if the store is basically like, nah, I'll sell for way more than what they're asking me to sell it for. Like, that actually can hurt the brand, because then you get introduced to it at the scale you're getting introduced to it from. That's crazy to me. We might just do watered down white, I think. I know over COVID they alleviated some of the rules about pricing just because they wanted stores to be able to sell stuff online for cheaper. If need be, to stay afloat. They didn't want to lose too many storefronts. Alright, let's water down some white. So I came back to the hobby 2 years ago. I was into the hobby for about 10 years though. Beforehand, back in middle school. I played 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 40K. To those who are unfamiliar with the old ways of Games Workshop games, the entire premise was, hey, what's the mission? Don't tell me. It's all about tabling the opponent. That's all I care about. What's that? I have to hold the... I don't care. It's tabling the opponent. That's the entirety of this game. And it was. Tabling the opponent was the main element of the game. It was kind of like the core of all you needed to do. The thing though, back then, the way we all play our first matches now, that was how you actually played the game. You looked at what you had as your army of choice, and then you would go, okay, what's the strongest output damage I have? I'm going to go all of that. You would either go single attack extremely good at something, or you would go so many dice it doesn't matter. That was the days of all Guardian armies. Every single turn. Alright, let me roll these 200 dice. And see if I kill your one squad. Behold, fake non-metallic metal. Zero effort non-metallic metal. Oh, yeah. At the time when I was getting back into this, I was doing all right financially, just because it was kind of like still mid-COVID. There wasn't a lot to spend my money on. So I built a Thousand Suns army. I did that pretty much to completion. Built a pretty well-collected Chaos Knights army, because I figured it would work alongside my Thousand Suns. And then I built a part of a Chaos Demon army, again, useful for my Thousand Suns, because it was mostly Tzeentch demons I bought. And then my buddy stupidly talked me into playing Genestealer Cult. Like, he was telling me to do the Genestealer Cult, and I was like, I could probably just build all demons and finish that out. And he was like, I don't think you're gonna like that. Because it would have been pretty much all Tzeentch demons. That would have been my entire demon army, and that does not do that well. Boom. We brought the boom. Oh yeah, TTS is great. There's nothing like taking a really well put together and painted army to an actual event. Like, that is way too cool. Alright, what color do we want to make the fur? I don't know. We did the cloak. We did the armor. I kind of want to paint this wheel. Kind of want to paint the wheel. I have an idea. It's actually okay. So I was huge into video games, like massively into video games. Uh-oh, my internet. Did Discord just go down, or is it my whole internet? I think it's just Discord. I think it was just Discord. Internet seems fine otherwise. Useful boxes are fine. I do that for pretty much all my storage. I have display cases, though, for a lot of things. Travel storage and display cases, two separate things. Look into acrylic boot display cases. Acrylic boot display cases usually come with a single plastic shelf you can put in them if you want. They are sized perfectly for patriarchs, large monsters and stuff, and if you put the shelf in, you can get acrylic, kind of like those display shelves, the ones that curve, right? And you can put those in there to try to like create multiple tiered areas in that shelf so you can store stuff, and then you usually just get one or two good travel cases. So what we're gonna do here, I don't know why Discord is just down. My phone still says I have internet, so like I have Fios in this area, and I've noticed it does weird things occasionally where it just goes, this, you don't need this service for a little while, and it like shuts down a part of your service. It's like odd. I don't know. But this is Golem in Flesh. Golem in Flesh, you're probably like, why are you painting it flesh tone? It's actually just a brown. Like at the end of the day, this is just a brown. This is a reddish brown. So if we go over top of the yellow with it, it should make it look like an interesting looking brass. Like I don't want it to be like a dark brass. I wanted it to be like a pale brass. Just an interesting looking metal for this outer ring. Alright, just a heads up if my internet cuts out, guys. If it just like stops randomly. Because Discord has not come back. I'm guessing I have to restart my modem or something here in a second. Yeah, we're going to do a pale, metallic, exterior piece of metal. Control the coffee staining a little bit. think it looks real nice. The yellow. That's good. Yeah, no. Modem's doing its weird two-stage thing. It's only kind of connected. It might kick me at some point here. I want to do this inner wheel though. What time is it? 6:35. God, I'm hungry. Did at least a little bit of a stream today. Is this Gilly Do? No. That's the color I actually want to use here. No, I do not have a stream schedule. You'll want to be in Discord. I usually talk about wanting to stream. I'm gonna try to stream this week a bit more than usual, since we have a painting project to do. But for the most part, a lot of my time is spent trying to get videos together, which, I mean, that takes a lot of time. So I can't always be streaming. Like, there was a period of time where I would stream pretty heavily, and I wasn't getting a lot of videos done, simply because I was streaming really heavily. Like, it's something I want to do occasionally, because I do like talking to people. It's the whole reason why I tried to work on the me versus chat stuff. Like, if you haven't been here, I do occasionally attempt to play it against chat in Kill Team. Like, we actually build a what we're going to be playing on. We just do a basic simple operation of Kill Team. So no tac ops, none of that extra stuff that you guys will have to, you know, work with. It's just straight up, hey, this is the mission, there's a kill op, these are the teams, go. Which is great. It's just a great way to play. We haven't really completed a mission. We got really far in one. The Harlequins versus Vespid mission we ran was pretty... We got to like turn 3. Like early turn 3 before I had to go. And it was a close one. That was pretty good. The co-op mission we did beat. That was pretty easy. But yeah, no, for the most part, I stream when I can. That's about that.
Wherever love goes, there is also misery. It's no mystery. And you and I, we got history. Yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. When we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain.
I think we need another brown. Snakebite. We'll do snakebite. Snakebite leather's a good base color for metal.
All the pain. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history. Yeah. And when you're alone, do you say my name?
Alright, I know I've got like 5 snake bites. Where the hell are they?
My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history. Yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. When we're in too deep, and you and I, we got history. Yeah.
Snakebite leather, so cool. yeah, we're gonna try to stream this a few times this week. Stalker 2 is coming out, so that's gonna eat up some of my time. Towers of the Gazba as well. This week's gonna be rough for me. 'Cause I still want to do some videos on top of all this. It's very close to the Reikland Flesh Shade. So it kind of works out a little bit. Idea here with this tone down is to kind of start like a little low with this Doom Bull. Alright, like that. Make it look a little dingy at the bottom. And then with Deathclaw, hopefully while it's still a little moist, build up from it. Boom. Basically just go back and forth between Doom Bull and Deathclaw on any of this brown stuff. Maybe organize a little bit more of like the light and shade. Nice little dingy brown metal armor right there. No, yeah, co-op's good. You gotta be a little bit narrative driven with it though, in your head. Like you can't just go almost exclusively from their NPO rules. Cause if you do NPO rules and the person you're playing with maybe understands how to, like, you know, trick that, I guess is the way to put it. Oh, I know what I need. Where's my rust gray? Rust gray would be perfect here. It has been, at least from my understanding, it has been Games Workshop's goal to try and like casualify at least elements of their games to try to lure new people in. Because in its current state, I mean, if it's only the hardcores playing it, it's not going to last. Like, you need people with disposable income who are looking to just like get into something that they can easily understand. Like, the people I've seen at the local store near me who, like, you would not expect these people to be like, I can't wait to play 40K, but there they are, and it's kind of awesome. Bass tone? Oh, dude. So the local store guy, the local Games Workshop store guy, we talk to him a lot. Like, he's pretty open about, like, stuff going on at the store. Like, he's friends with a lot of the people that go there. They play games outside of the store a lot. Oh, I know what I need. Oh, wait, no, that's too bright. I need my ash white. So when he told us, like, I actually got to see it too. Hang on. It's uniform gray. Where the hell is ash white? Got it. So what he told us, basically for the month after Space Marine 2 came out, Games Workshop pulled the Space Marine board game out of Target and basically relaunched it in Games Workshop stores. So that sold out faster than he could get it in. Like every single week he would get like 10 more and they would sell out. So that was a big thing. Not only that, but I walked into that store and his entire Thousand Sun section, arguably not large, was gone. And I went, the hell happened here? And he was like, so a family came in and they had played the Space Marine 2 game and they were all looking to get into the actual tabletop for it because of that game. And the husband and the son were like, I want to play Space Marines, I want to play Tyranids. And the wife went, well, I really liked the Thousand Suns. So she basically bought them out of all their Thousand Sun stuff. Like she picked up Magnus, she picked up like the starter patrol, all like the extra boxes. Our running concept in that store is that, like, a month or two from now, she'll show up at the store with all that stuff and, like, dominate people. She'll be, like, top tier, frickin' competitive, Thousand Sun player. Just taking people to the cleaners. Be hilarious. I'd be here for it. Alright. I should probably get going. It is 7 o'clock. I have about 2 hours before my night editing with my actual job. And we'll continue this week. I don't know when, so go to the Discord, get into the Discord. I also need to restart my modem so I can see people getting into the Discord and giving you guys your ranks, because that'd be awesome. This guy looks nice. I like this. Not at all painted with any metallics. Still feels metallic. It's good. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Watch the video if you haven't. I don't know. Battle report next? Nah. I think maybe Embergard overview, the relaunch. Maybe we'll do that. Till next time, guys.